get a great vibe from this guy. He's very funny. I think he's destined for great things. Very little introduction. Adam Kwaselow.
Thank you guys. I like rap music because it's up front with you. Like, you know the song Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones? Yeah, anybody know what that song is about? It's about Mick Jagger's girlfriend overdosing on heroin. And the only way to figure that out is by interviewing Mick Jagger. Meanwhile, anybody know what the song Gold Digger by Kanye West is about? About a fucking gold digger. Kanye wrote Wild Horses. My girlfriend overdosed on heroin would be the second line. All right? People talk shit about rap music. They're like, oh, rap music is all about fucking bitches and drinking lean. Yeah, you ever heard of music? I was raised on classic rock. Every classic rock song is about sex, drugs, or having sex on drugs. Like, Gotta Get You Into My Life by the Beatles. That's a beautiful love song, isn't it? Wrong. It's about drugs. Paul McCartney smoked pot for the first time and wrote a love song that's happier than actual love songs. And it's not just rock music. My dad plays Miles Davis around the house all the time. His music doesn't even have lyrics. Look me in the eye and tell me it's not about heroin. Look, music's always been about drugs. It's just rappers aren't trying to hide it. And I appreciate that because I don't listen to music to hunt for clues, okay? People are like, well, rappers are always talking about fucking my girlfriend. All right, I'll give you that. Guns N' Roses never made a song about fucking your girlfriend. They did make a song that includes the audio of Axl Rose fucking the drummer's girlfriend. Pretty sure that's worse, right? Because when rappers talk about fucking my girlfriend, they're just creating a fantasy where I have a girlfriend. So I'm glad she liked your flip-flops, Future. When I was a kid, I was prescribed Ritalin, which is a great drug if you don't want to feel joy. Like, I've always been told that if you get high and watch Wizard of Oz while you play the Dark Side of the Moon, they will match up perfectly. But if you're on Ritalin, you will spend the entire time trying to match them up perfectly. And it's an appetite suppressant, right? I wouldn't be hungry until it wore off. So my school thought I was anorexic because I didn't look like this yet, right? And one day at lunch, the principal sat me down with a tray of food, and he said, "You are not leaving this table until you eat this." Because that's how you treat an eating disorder, right? You just sit him down and say, "Eat it!" He thought he could cure anorexia the same way Fear Factor cured not eating horse rectums. When I was 9 years old, my mother was in a mental institution. This is where we get to the heavy part of the show. And we went to visit her, and the hospital staff told me that because I was 9 years old, I was too young for them to let me actually go see my mother, because they didn't want me to see her so heavily sedated, which is stupid because that was the safest she'd ever been, right? So I had to sit back. My brother got to visit her. I had to sit back in the lobby with my Game Boy, and I don't know what's the hardest you've ever cried while playing Pokemon Red. Believe I set the high score. And I had to be real careful not to let my tears hit the screen because that's Charmander's weakness. And I didn't want to go home without him, too. It only gets worse from here, don't worry. My senior year of high school, I had my first ever date with a lady. And before we started dating, we were talking about the worst things that ever happened to us. And mine was that story I just told you. Hers was not getting a tryout to be color guard captain. So I opened up about my past. She opened up her Tuesdays at 4. All right? And a week after our first date, my mom died. I'm sorry for my loss. Would it help if I humped a stool? This girl was the first person I told, and she didn't know how to respond because she wasn't captive material. So she didn't. In order to get her to say anything, I had to change the subject. So the conversation went, me, I just found out my mom died. Crickets. Me, hey, do that history homework? A month and a half later, I'm in a car with her and her parents. And her mom says, so, Adam, does your mom still live around here? Because when she said, we've heard so much about you, she had not heard enough. I didn't say anything, right? Because the answer had just recently become no. So the silence gets broken by her dad saying, Adam, we asked if your mom still lives around here. So now I have to be the only person in this relationship capable of handling my mother's death. So I said, word for word, beat for beat, she doesn't still live. I had to. If I would have just said no, they would have asked me where she is now. And then they would have asked me what part of the state purgatory's in. Look, she's my mom. She wasn't getting in right away, okay? There's paperwork. It was sudden. Like, they didn't have a room for it, okay? And her mom says, oh, no, when did that happen? And I said, March. And she says, what year? Because I'm from the suburbs of Detroit and context hadn't made it out of the city yet. And I said, this one, and I have never heard a radio get turned up faster in my life. Look, I wish I hadn't ended that story, but I was in that car for another half hour. And I was in that relationship for another year. It's not that I didn't think I could do better. It's that I knew I couldn't do other. It was my birthday last month. No, my parents fucked once. That's all that happened, all right? My dad came, my mom didn't. Let's not clap for it. I don't do anything special for my birthday anymore because my 21st birthday ruined birthdays, all right? A few weeks before, my dad calls and said, Adam, you have to come home for your birthday. And I said, Dad, I'm in college. It's my 21st. It's on a Saturday, and you're not going to put your mouth on it. I'm staying here. And he said, well, your brother's flying in for your birthday. It's going to be the first time he's been in Michigan since he graduated. We're going to have the unveiling of your mother's gravestone. Dad's not allowed to plan parties anymore. My brother's getting married next summer. If Dad was planning it, there would be a speech for all of his exes. How'd you celebrate your 21st birthday?
I was in Egypt.
Okay, so you didn't put on a suit to watch your family cry? All right, cool. I thought I was done. Like, I wore the ribbon and everything. Like, in Judaism, when a loved one dies, you wear a pin with a ribbon on it for a week, and every day you tear the ribbon to signify how your heart is being torn. Because Judaism's all about rubbing it in, right? If you're Orthodox, you have to have a rabbi follow you saying, your mother's dead, your mother's dead, your mother's dead. It was fucked up. Like, normally the unveiling of a gravestone happens a year after the funeral. My mother's funeral was my senior year of high school. This was happening my senior year of college, and my dad wonders where I learned to procrastinate. And that's not even all the bad shit that happened on my 21st birthday. I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I did not turn on a light. I did not put on my glasses. I did walk directly into a door frame. Got a black eye. Fell. the other side of my face hit the toilet, giving me the other black eye. Now, normally when a guy gets two black eyes, he's able to say something like, you should see the other guy. The other guy was a fucking bathroom. I did pee in his mouth, though. So I got that going for me. When I was in college, I had a roommate who was in a fraternity, and their frat did not have a house. They did have our apartment, and a lot of the guys in this frat would get a tattoo to show their dedication, but some of them didn't have the money for it, so they decided to get branded in my kitchen. Did you know you could burn the letter I into a man's flesh with just a wire hanger and a stove? Did you know that? To be fair, that's not all the equipment they used, right? They also had 2 belts, a textbook, and a bag of flour. But those are luxury upgrades. I saw that face you made. The belts and the textbook are to keep his arm in place, and the flour makes a nice crust. So, I'm Adam. That's my time. Thank you, guys.
That was tragic and funny. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dan. That was a great commercial. Thank you for helping us pay the bills. Okay, I got a lot to talk about.